Hello viewers, and welcome back to Endless Legend Shifters. So, in the comments of the last video, a watchful viewer, vigilant viewer perhaps, informed me that this is in fact not the only source of diplomatic points, and in fact, looking at our diplomatic point value on the screen here, that should have been obvious because these numbers don't add up. It's turned 117, I'm definitely not only getting the ones that it has been telling me I'm getting, considering most of the game it's been only like 5. So, there is another way to get diplomatic points, and that is trade. Whenever I make a deal with another empire, whenever I make a treaty with another empire, and there's an important distinction to be made here. You will be my example. Why are you jealous? Okay. There are two kinds of deals you can make on this negotiation screen. Deals like this, that I call declarations. You can tell it's a declaration because the little bar expands to fill the whole table. It is double column width. Declarations are things that one side can say unilaterally, this is true. And then there are treaties, things like this. I guess that sometimes these also, but these sometimes these are also double width. But these have a like and dislike bar. You notice, if I do this, he doesn't get to have an opinion on this. I am saying it is so. If I say, hey, let's do vision and map exchange, I have to convince him that this is a good idea. So, for treaties, anything where you have to convince them it's a good enough idea, and anything where you have to make a deal that is favorable to both sides, every time you make one of these, you gain diplomatic points. You get 5 diplomatic points for each point of influence that you spent on the deal. So, we need 3,000 diplomatic points to win the game. As you can see here, we are at 1,377, 46%. Significant, but still pretty far away. I was afraid we were going to have to wait all those turns, and in addition to that perhaps not happening until after somebody wins a science victory, also that's super boring. But turns out not to be the case. So, what we need is roughly 1,500 more diplomatic points, right? It's actually 1623, but roughly 1,500, we'll say, because that makes the math easy. So, in order to make deals sufficient to get us 1,500 diplomatic points, we have to spend 7,500 influence points. Now, every turn that we wait, every turn that we delay, we are effectively subtracting 100 from that number because we're getting 20 diplomatic points for free. Actually, we're getting 23 diplomatic points for free, and I don't know why. I don't know where the extra 3 are coming from, but I conducted quite a bit of testing after I was told that there are other sources of diplomatic points, and what I figured out is that when we're allied with everybody, we're getting 23 point something diplomatic points per turn. If you have some idea why that is, please drop it in the comments. Make sure you read the comments on the last video if you're curious about influence or diplomatic points, because there's a lot of stuff written there by me and also UWO Bobby Peru that will be relevant to your interests. So we need to generate somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,500 influence. By the time we've done that, the extra diplomatic points we need to make up will have been made up just by time. So we need to ramp our influence generation up quite a bit. This is 30 turns out at this rate, assuming, of course, that we do not spend anything on our Empire plan. Empire plan, influence spent on the Empire plan does not give you any diplomatic points. So what that means is that we are probably going to want to try to keep our Empire plans as simple as possible. We've got one coming up in the near future, and we should probably not go totally nuts on it. But the other thing that means is that we need to really focus on buffing our influence output, like a lot. So, this, and then this, And then let's unclick these. Yep, and then this plus 10%. And then this. That seems fine. We'll get those, and then we'll figure everything else out later. Also, we're going to be moving a lot of citizens. Actually, how badly do I want to focus these first two things up? Pretty badly, actually. Aura of Empire would be pretty valuable for us. We have a lot of level 2 districts. And I do want the Arena of Champions a lot. Okay, we're going to leave everybody right where they are. Once we get this technology finished, I think I'm going to move all of the citizens in all of our cities to influence production. Actually, is the legendary building that gives influence still available? It is. We can't start building it for a while, unfortunately. Also, we have an army. What must you do, little army? Zoom in is taking a moment here, as my computer struggles to render all of the land. I guess it's not really that important to expand my empire anymore. Well, go get pearls because they make valuable trade terms. There's stuff to be constructed. Make this because it will produce 1 influence. And then make this. That'll also produce influence. Then bang one of these out. And then it's time for expansion. Every place else is building stuff. Yeah. This is an influence building. That'll help. We need to focus on influence generation. If we do that, we can win the game within the next 30-ish turns, probably. Which I think is a good plan, because the AI is at some point going to win a scientific or economic victory. It's worth noting that increasing your level of diplomacy, I guess. I don't know a good way to say this. Increasing your status with another empire from, say, Cold War to peace is worth some diplomatic points as long as you do it as a fair deal. If you use the crazy Draken mind control powers to make somebody be peaceful, that actually doesn't yield any diplomatic points because the crazy Draken mind control powers are not a willing deal. Nobody actually wants that, it turns out. And so it doesn't count. Gonna bang out these influence buildings in all of the cities. We will not get influence points from mind controlling people out of war with us. We will not get influence points for mind controlling people back to a higher level of diplomacy. Oh, there's one other thing we should do immediately, though, and I feel foolish for having forgotten. I was just going to stockpile influence. There's no reason to make lots of tiny deals now, but there is one kind of deal that we actually do make now, and we want to make it with everybody. And that is commercial and research agreements. These are valuable. People mostly like to do them with us because we have stuff that they want to share in. Alright, we'll pay you off. How's 500 dust sound? How's 600 dust sound? How would you feel about 700 dust? Really? You need 701. Fine. Okay, this is good. We're generating diplomatic points with this stuff. Do you want to give me a little something? I want to do this mostly because I want to... This is giving me an opportunity to put more influence into the deal. And every point we spend is valuable. You know what? Never mind. Let's just get that done. Let's get all of these agreements up. Also, the computer, I think, finds it a little bit annoying to have to break agreements, so these may help to cement our friendship for a little while. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to try and negotiate with them. Okay, so the diplomatic point value doesn't update until the beginning of the next turn. So you can see we're at 1424 now. When we hit end turn, it will update that value and we'll gain a whole bunch of points immediately. And that will serve as proof of the thing that I said to you. Not that you necessarily need me to prove it to you. I don't know that you're that distrustful of a person. I'm just saying it's good to have verification. We're going to be seeing winter in the very near future here. So remember, our diplomatic point value was 1424 a moment ago, and it is now 1652. See, you can see that sharp uptick when we make deals. Ozek. Mighty Ozek. Yeah, this is actually going to be really valuable for us. I'm gonna beeline that really hard. Where is Ozek, Governor? Karandar? Okay, Karandar is a city that has, it is not. It is a city that has actually very little construction completed. Okay, when he gets a couple of ranks in that skill, we may want to swap him to one of the other cities so that he can be providing a percentage increase to a non-zero number. Everybody has stuff to do. Good, good. So this, 840, I'm not liking this as much anymore. Dust and science are less important to us now than they have been in the past. So I wonder if it's time to drop the approval. Yeah, let's do this. And actually, this even. I think that makes sense. And we went and got in the water just as all the pearls spawned on land. Alright, well, we are getting some good climb. Buildings are getting finished in the cities. Up north of 300 now. Somebody is making a declaration at us all the way back to Cold War, do you? Well, that's exciting, because it gives us a chance to negotiate a return to alliance. How would you feel about some resources or something? 78 Hyperion would turn them. How about some technology? Really, native district seems interesting to them. Remember, I want the influence of cost of this deal to scale up. I don't really want to give them my Hyperium, though. I'd like to hold on to that because I want to build legendary buildings with it. They don't seem that interested in anything else, though. We can, by giving them all of our dust, we can get the bar pretty far. I'm certainly not giving them a city. We need our cities. I don't think it's a good idea to force peace or to force the improvement with them. Okay, shipyard, sure. Hospitality den. That makes some sense for me to give you. Wow, this is a pretty old tech. You don't have this? Okay, there we go. 584. So that was some influence earned, and we get our alliance back. It's like 2 birds with 1 stone. Wow, you don't actually have one of these. And then we want to make the Arena of Champions, which we will not really be able to afford to buy. That's actually going to take a really long time to build. Kandar doesn't really need the right-of-way that badly. We have enough population to build out the city at this point, so we can to work on the... Oh. Sure. That seems important. Actually, like, important. It's not, though, really, is it? Yeah, let's just build out the triangle as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna pull a bunch of things from the queue here. Alright, we will continue to accelerate our rate of influence gain. Pop our die booster as soon as it becomes available again. Keep these boosters rolling. Honestly, I think just providing food to the city is his best play right now. Alright, we're going to be living a pretty quiet life this next group of turns, unless the AI makes us do something else. We're going to just remain peaceful. Okay. Vaulters have a lot of guardians. That's good to know. No reason not to keep applying science with the Ardent Mages. We have an empty construction queue in Biegal. You actually build all of the important buildings. You did. I don't know. That seems important. Alright, I think that I'm doing the best thing here. I think that I'm doing these in the order that it makes sense. Again, definitely does not need focus for its quick steel extractor, or a quicksilver extractor rather. Are there any other buildings that really need to get built? I mean, this would be awfully nice. How much is that? 9147 it would be. Honestly, that's going to take so long to build that I think we might be better off just doing this. Yeah, it's just not going to finish during the game. It takes so long to build that it wouldn't hardly be useful anyway. The same is sort of true of this building. But this building, at least, I'm going to put some effort into rush buying. This is another thing where I think maybe we're yeah, you know, we might be focusing on things that are not the fastest way to victory here. Let's move you guys over. Oh, I can't do that here. I have to do it down here. Actually, everybody but the capital is on it. Everybody but the capital is on the plan, man. Let's do it in the capital too, actually. Because now we're over 517. We've actually doubled the rate of acquisition. Yeah, I think we're actually going to be able to pull this off. When it comes time to make the deals, I'm just going to trade resources around. I don't think that there's any particular reason that it needs to be more complex than that. Hey, the army finally got winterized. Alright, so... $41.79. Somebody's dead. It actually reduces my diplomatic point income a little bit. I'm annoyed. Pink finally got finished off. I think Pink's been at war with a bunch of different players pretty much the whole game, so... Alright, this winter could come to an end. That would not be terrible. Alright, so let's have a quick look at the situation here. Diplomacy. We are at 1927. We need actually we probably have enough influence to just go for it right now. No, it would be about 5k. So next turn. Alright, so here we're going to set up a series of complicated trade deals, and we're going to spend all of our influence doing it. And in theory, that will push me up to, if not victory, at least very close to victory. Alright, so spend influence. Let us trade technologies, friends. Hey, you. You love me. How about we do a map exchange? Now, these are not very expensive terms. How about we do a vision and map exchange? That's a nice start. And in exchange, I will give you reaping station and highway outposts. And I'm going to need from you, man, 22 each. It's actually very difficult to spend influence. So, what do you have that's cool? Any of this stuff? I don't care about any of this stuff. Signal Corps. What do I have to do to get that? Just put all the techs out. Yeah, I'll give you all of my Empire's technology. Wow. This is not expensive. I never even bothered to research meritocratic promotion. Here. Actually, the thing that makes sense is to take the smallest technologies, right? It makes it easier for me to put a larger number of terms on the table. Actually, you know what's not very classy is I could probably ask him for like one dust at a time a bunch of times. Let's make this... is this a good idea? Am I maybe overdoing it a little? I can trade him some stuff I don't care about resource-wise. And there's a lot of tech that he's just suddenly gaining. Whatever. We're doing science here. We're testing some things. Oh, I gained enough technology to go into the end of ages there. So no. And yes. 41 turns. Okay, not happening. The game will be over by then in a number of ways. Hey you. How would you feel about a technology trade, I guess? How about I will give you all of these lovely techs. Look at that. 624 influence worth of technologies. And in exchange, all I ask is so precious little. Throw some more terms on here. What is the thing? What is the tech that requires the least negotiation? Borough government and dust alchemy? Skoros, I guess. Also give me dust alchemy. I swear I will pay you. How would you like... I don't know, what kind of things do people like you like? You like Hyperium? How do you feel about, like, 50 Hyperium? I'll trade some of it. I don't mind some of it. Alright, 736. Great. Hey, you. How'd you like every technology ever? Oh, you got a lot of techs. You already know stuff. This person does not have a single technology that is not, like, completely overwhelming their half of the deal. How about 200 dust? Wow, really? How about 1 dust? 3 dust for all of my technology. You drive a hard bargain. Ridiculous. You. How would you like to... I mean... Listen, you gotta keep up with the Joneses here. Everybody knows this stuff. They're gonna think you're an idiot. What kind of luxuries do you like? Oh, nothing very much, it turns out. You want 20 pearls? I'll do that. I'll give you 20 pearls. And then, like, some dust? Yeah. Doesn't have to be everything. Oops. That was supposed to be 2,000. Good enough. Okay, so we spent a significant amount of influence there, but it actually was not even close to enough. So another thing that we can do is make powerful declarations. We can be like, hey, you and me, we're going to Cold War, and then we can buy him back up to Alliance. But as you can see, 608 influence will be spent on stuff that doesn't actually advance our cause. But I'm curious where we ended up on that. 1946. Okay. I didn't need to close all this stuff. Sure. $24.64. Okay, we need to... Peace? We'll see about that. Alright. So we need to make another 535 points, which is another 2,500 and something influence spent. I think we should be allies. How would you feel about some dust? How about some more? Okay. Good enough. That was some. Man, we just gotta, like... How about... What do you not care about very much? I'm just putting some titanium on the table so I can use it to gauge their interest. Actually, let's use Hyperium. Use Hyperium to gauge their interest. Okay, so they actually don't really want to trade at all. They're done with us. How about you? You love trade, right? You love, what do you call it? Commerce. What if I gave you 108 adamantium? What would you say to that? You would say, wow, basically you would say go to hell. Man, all of the terms are so cheap. Oh, you give me 1 dust. Really? They just really don't like adamantium. I give you 1 Hyperion. You give me 1 dust. No? Really? I'm shocked. What if I decided to just chill? How many turns of waiting am I in for? 2464 at 20 per turn. That's only, you know, a million turns. Frustrating. We have enough influence. We just have to actually get to spend it. So, again, we do have the option of... Actually, can we negotiate with Red for the cessation of that market ban? No? Damn. Well, the other thing we can do, it's costly, but we can declare Cold War and then buy back our alliance over and over again. It's actually kind of difficult to find a way to spend this much dust. I guess what I could do is this a bunch of times. Right, every time I do this, I gain 3 diplomatic points. It just seems a little tedious. But it's a lot of waiting. Well, I'm not going to do the tedious deals every turn. The waiting is a little less tedious, at least, I think. This does mean we're pretty much just back on, waiting. I'm gonna give these guys a couple of minutes to kind of chill out from all the trade. It is still quite a gulf between us and our intended. 2,500. We're only getting 16 diplomatic points a turn, too. We lost 20% of our passive income. Because that one empire died. So what am I going to do to ensure some deals can happen? Because at this point the problem is not the what do you call it? The problem is not the amount of influence we have, it's the difficulty of spending it. There must be something that these guys want, and that would also be costly. Costly in terms of influence. I don't want you to declare war on the... Well, actually, what if I did talk them all into declaring war on each other? That would be funny. Okay, you're really not interested in that. But let's say that I thought you should go to war with this guy. And I was willing to give you 10 glass steel to do it. Actually, I was going to give you one glass steel. And one dust. And one of these. And one of these. I so desperately want to add influence to this deal. One of these. Now I can just give them stuff too. That's something to think about. I am not going to be able to spend 2,500 influence like this. I mean, I totally could. I would be so bored, though. There you go. Declare war on red. Can you believe they just did that? Terrible. It's a terrible thing. Let me ask you something, fellow. How would you like to trade me some technologies? Wouldn't that be exciting for both of us? Oh, he really wants, interested in glass steel. But you know what? I don't actually care about my mithrite and hyperium, I guess, since I no longer actually need influence. How about I give you one of everything? No, this isn't even going to work. One of everything I don't think would be enough. Oh, it's frustrating how slow it is. Actually, hold on. I'm a little paranoid. So we spent about 400 influence. Let me make sure this works the way I think it does. So we should be in the neighborhood of 2620 next turn between all of our different sources of influence. Let's see if that holds. 2,620 diplomatic points or thereabouts. Pop boosts. $2,600. Oh, because yeah, it was a little bit less. It was 400. Should have been 80. Actually, this is a little bit lower than I was expecting. Yeah, we're still getting 16. Huh. Well, waiting for the game to end by 16s sounds pretty miserable. This is not the screen I want at all. At this point, I think I could afford to do this. Not even interested in going straight back to the Alliance. Now let's give you, I don't know. This is less efficient in the sense of less influence efficient, but it's tremendously more my time and attention efficient, which has to count for something. Yeah, we're just yanking your chain, man. I'm sorry. You're a convenient target is all. Alright, 262. That's something. It's getting a little expensive. Ooh, look at this. Cold War, 651. That means that bringing him back to Alliance actually is remarkably cheap, and he likes it, straight up. One more. Alliance! How much? 1,500. I'll do it again. Cold War. I say Cold War. Son, you hear me? He actually liked it better that time. He wanted to be in an alliance with us even more as we were jerking him around. Basically, what I'm trying to get across here, in case it wasn't clear, is that I believe I've already won the game, and that I don't have to be good at the game anymore. How are we doing now? 2808. Ugh. 2809. Make up your mind. Well, we could go screw with the red player a little bit more. Let's do it. Cold War. I was just kidding, Alliance. That's actually... I don't know why, but that's really funny to me. Why does he need to be allied with us so badly? Oh, we get to make those agreements all new every time we do this. So that's interesting, actually. That was like... That actually makes it a lot more efficient. It doesn't really make it any less simple, and it makes it a lot more point efficient. Hey, you. What'd you believe? Cold War. No, I'm screwing with you, Alliance. And hey, you want to make commercial and research agreements? What a ridiculous way to play the game. We do have a pretty reasonable income of influence now, though. There we go. Through some pretty bizarre shenanigans. That thing would not have worked in multiplayer. Obviously, no human player would allow you to just burn influence into diplomatic points on them. In multiplayer, you're probably going to have to actually do it correctly, and at a certain point, people, or at least people who know how the game works, are going to stop trading with you. So I expect that this would be a little bit harder to pull off in actual multiplayer, but against the AI, you know, perfectly effective. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game. I don't yet know what I'm going to be doing in the future. If you have an idea or you have a request, anything you'd like to see, from strategy videos about specific strategies to just general gameplays, please post it in the comments below. And come back next time, tomorrow, when there will be some kind of new thing. I know not what, but some kind of new thing. We'll see you then. Actually, hold up. Before I do that, let's pop through the score screens real quick. So overall score, not very good, because the game is not good at judging when you are winning. Anything that takes you directly toward a victory condition should probably be weighted more heavily, and so like the fact that I was doing so well in diplomatic points should have been raising my score. It should generally be the case that the guy who won the game is, if not the highest scoring, then at least pretty close to the top, if you want your scores to mean anything to anyone. We had a very small military. Look at these players, 113,000, or no, sorry, that's just 15,000. Yeah, the line is down here. But look, 113,000 military strength, which again, I think may just be total max health of all units combined. Yeah, we came in pretty low on a lot of these charts. But it turns out not to have mattered very much, because we chose one of the ones that you actually win the game for to be good at. Alright, sadly that was not as interesting as I'd hoped. Yeah, next time. See you then.